everyone, we are here in Clark Clinic today to record our 4th episode of our pod, Heart Heroes. And today we're with a very, very special heart hero. We are here with Max.
Yeah.
Max, do you want to tell everyone who's listening a little bit about yourself?
I am Max Buick. I'm aged 9, and
You're in Clark Clinic?
I'm in Clark Clinic today
And why are you here today?
because I was going through open heart surgery in Evelina on the 13th of March.
13th of March is a long time ago,
Yeah.
isn't it? How many days do you think you've been in hospital altogether?
126.
Oh my goodness, 126. That is crazy. And how has that been?
It has been the best thing ever.
Has it? Well, isn't that lovely? And have you had a great team surrounding you?
Yeah.
And when you think of those 126 days, what has been the best thing about it?
Going out.
Going out, getting out of the hospital has been
Yeah.
the best thing about it? Oh, okay, I understand that. And how did you get to Evelina then? In March, how did you get there? Did you walk?
Playing by Jeremy Lyons.
Oh, by Jeremy Lyons. I've heard he's very, very good indeed. Is he funny?
Yeah.
And tell me, was this a plane by yourself? Or was this a plane with lots of other people?
By myself.
So you got a private jet, Max?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that a big adventure?
Yes.
And who went with you?
Mommy and Daddy.
Oh, and what did they think of this private jet?
It was a very good one, and it had gin.
Legit. And now we're getting down to the secrets. Who drank the most gin?
Nobody.
Nobody. Hopefully not Jeremy Lyons. Yeah. So you mentioned your mum and dad, and I know your mum and dad have been here with you the whole time. And I remember you being in hospital when you were a teeny tiny baby, and your mum and dad were stuck by your side. How is it having them here all the time? Is it a nice big support?
It's a nice big support as well.
Yeah. And is there anything that they do that makes you feel extra special?
Love me.
They love you, they do, with all their heart, don't they?
Yeah.
And who complains the most, Mummy or Daddy?
Daddy.
Daddy! And who makes you laugh the most?
Mama.
Oh really? Has she got any jokes?
No.
No? She's just up to no good, is she, all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, so in 126 days then, you have seen lots of different people. Lots of doctors, lots of nurses, lots of staff on the ward. Do you have a favourite?
Everybody.
That's a very diplomatic answer. And tell me what your day looks like then. So what do you normally do on a normal day in Clark Clinic?
Well, I get up, have breakfast, then get into my clothes,
Yeah.
have a walk, and then have a coffee,
Oh, have a wee coffee.
and then have my lunch, and then I sometimes go out. Sometimes visitors come to see me, and then I have my dinner, wash, and bed.
Oh, that sounds like a very busy day.
Yeah.
And do you watch anything on your tablet or on TV?
No.
No? You've got way too much going on to watch anything, don't you?
Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
So, if you imagine there might be boys and girls listening to this, or mummies and daddies of boys and girls listening to this, who are about to go for surgery,
Yeah.
do you have anything that you would like to say to them?
I think it is the best idea.
It's the best idea. And you have had probably a bit of a scary time, but actually you've been super brave, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? And you're looking forward to getting home? What do you think the first thing you'll do at home will be?
Go out.
Go out. I think that's a good plan, Max. Well, Max, thank you so much for sharing your story and telling everybody a little bit about you and how your life's been the last 126 days. Do you have anything you want to say to anyone before we go?
you for watching.
And will we wait? Bye. So Carol is Max's mum, and she is wonderful. She is here all the time with a big smile on her face. So we thought it'd be lovely to get Carol's side of the story. Max has filled us in now on the last 126 days. But can you take us back to the very beginning?
Okay. I'll go very briefly through. Neil and I been told we couldn't have kids, and 13 years later we found out we were expecting Max, and we found out at 20 weeks he obviously had a heart condition which didn't look very good, but we went through pregnancy and we saw antenatal wise, we saw Dr. Casey and Edith and the team and Louise every week or every 2 weeks, just keeping an eye on everything. So Max was born and we went for his first open heart surgery over in the Evelina. At day one they came and picked him up from here, and he had his first one then, and then he had a second one at 5 months old, and the second one was more of a struggle with fluid, etc., but he got through that, and then we got home, and we've been home ever since. So we really haven't been back to Clark Clinic since like 2015. So it's actually been quite a long time, and then we always knew this third one was due any time after the age of 3. So every year we kind of thought it was going to be now, but Max was doing so well, so it got to the stage where we knew the third one was going to be happening this year at some stage.
And how did you feel in the lead up to that? So you knew it was coming.
I would say the earlier days were worse because it was always like, is it going to be this year? Is it going to be this year? But actually, it was, once we found out it was happening, it was kind of like you throw yourself into the whole headspace of this is happening. Mm-hmm. Like we have prepped, Neil and I have both prepped our minds mentally for 9 years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we were ready for it in some ways, I suppose in some ways, to go and get ready. And like Max makes it easy because he's so good.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And when you think back to that, because it was a very long stay, I remember it. Mm-hmm. It was a very long stay, and then when Max was a baby, and then now, which is another very long stay, how do those two experiences compare with Max being that bit older?
I just found this time so much more easier. I thought everybody kind of says, well, he's older now and it's going to affect him more. Definitely not. As a baby, you've just had a baby, you're all through yourself. Max is now 9 years old. He communicates with us. He can tell us how he's feeling, what's sore, if he's annoyed, if he's upset. He makes us laugh every day. That makes it 10 times easier, and he's just so good. So when he's good, we're good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I find it so much easier this time.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. And when you look at Max now, and you think of the last 9 years and everything you went through, and everything you went through actually before those 9 years, and getting that antenatal diagnosis, what do you see when you look at Max now?
He's just so brave. Incredibly brave and incredibly resilient. As in, no matter what they came to him in the Evelina, whether it was a new PICC line, Max googled it, searched it, right, when are we doing it? Mm-hmm. No matter what it was, lung scrape, none of us really knew what that meant.
Yeah.
And that was a huge procedure, but he went through that so well, incredibly. Every procedure he just embraces, gets through it, gets out the other side, and just continues. Yeah. He's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we have to mention that he has a brilliant team in you and Neil and your wider family. How is Max's hospital saying this particular experience? How have you noticed that that's affected everyone else around him who loves him and misses him terribly?
Yeah. It was definitely long. Like, we're all 10 years older, and that is just, for me and Neil, I think that's an alright thing. I think we're on a journey we've been on. We are grand about that. We've mentally prepared for a lot. Hard for people around, hard for like Granny and Granda. That was difficult for them. It was a long stay, and not knowing what the outcome was going to be was very difficult as well. But like, great support. 2 sisters who live over there are just, we couldn't have done it without them. Yeah. Simple as that. We couldn't.
And when you think of, it's a stressful situation, and sometimes it can take a toll on relationships, and especially when you're confined in one space a lot of the time. Do you have any advice for anyone who's maybe in the thick of that now and maybe just it's taken a toll on their own relationship with their partner. Have you any advice that you and Neil have found that has worked well?
I think a big part is kind of like play to what your strengths. So for me, sitting in a hospital by Max's bed and learning everything about his care and his medical situation, I actually thrive on that.
Yeah.
And Neil, to an extent, but to Neil to get out and go walking and be, I know that he'll kill me for saying it, but be the person who's like going to Marx's to get this or going to get Max something new in the shop.
Yeah.
Like we played to our strengths.
Yeah.
But sitting, a big thing is just, if you can, and it's not, we for the first time ever were able to leave Max in the hospital by himself while we went back to Ronald McDonald. That was huge.
Yeah.
Because if you can come back each morning refreshed, you're a different person. We did at the very start, we did a tag team thing where I stayed at 2 o'clock in the morning and then Neil took over from 2 to the morning.
Yeah.
And we did that probably for about 7 weeks, and that was, we had to, because Max was probably not okay by himself. But once we got that out of the way, for Max to stay by himself in the hospital, because he's a bigger boy now, and for me and Neil to get back home at night, or for one of us, was huge, just to get rest.
Yeah.
I'd say, and it's hard, it really is difficult on a relationship, very difficult. But I think with being 24 years married and having Max late in our marriage also was a big help.
Yeah.
But, you know, but definitely using, like for me before, like I've used the counselling service through Children's Heartbeat, I'd say on 4 occasions now, and that is essential to me.
Really?
To
You find that a good support?
completely essential. I think to talk to somebody that is not your family,
Yeah.
for sure, and peer support. See, talking to other mummies, essential.
Yeah.
I think.
Good.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah.
For me, for sure.
And you mentioned other parents, so I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Max. If you had any wise words or anything to pass on to maybe parents who haven't done surgery yet, but it's coming, and they're sitting at home and they're really, really understandably worried, and nothing's going to take that worry away. But if you had any kind of words of reassurance or voice of experience to pass on, what would that be?
Just to believe in the team around you. If you, to me, our team I was scanned by Louise at that stage, wouldn't have been our consultant, it would have been Professor Casey, but to be scanned from them, all that, we believed in them from there. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's not my job to be I'm not a medical professional, I'm not nursing, I'm not any of that. So for me, to be mummy and daddy, that is your job in this whole journey. You don't need to know the inside out of, I know one of Max's heart conditions, I don't know them all, because quite frankly, I don't need to.
Yeah.
I'm watching Max, I know by his colour, I know by him, by his body, I know him inside out, and if you know your child inside out, that's your job. You're not the professional in this, that's what they're for. So we have complete and utter trust in this whole situation, because we made that decision in the Evelina 36 days ago, or a wee bit more than that, to come home and go no further with our treatment.
Yeah.
Because we knew our son, and we knew we'd come to a limit for his mental health. And he's built back up over the last 5 weeks, or 4 weeks, and we don't know then what we'll do after this.
Yeah.
The goalposts have changed,
Yeah.
the baseline has changed, so we're back to, we can make informed decisions now about the future, but we had to make that decision 36 days ago. We had to come home, for sure,
Yeah.
for him and his mental health.
And do you know, that's so interesting that you should say that, because I remember all those years ago you being in, and one thing that's stuck in my head and that I've said to families since is Max sets the agenda.
Oh, totally. But Louise,
That is so true.
Max talks about having a Max-led day.
Yeah.
Like, let's have a Max-led day, and as Louise Morrison said, what day isn't Max-led? It's all, and if Max it is his journey after all. It's not my journey. We're going through it with him, but it is Max's life.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, we're very honest with Max. Max knows everything about everything that's going on, because it's his journey.
Yeah.
He needs to know, he doesn't want it sugar coated. He wants to know what is happening and when.
Yeah.
And don't try and work and talk in code as he talks about. Just tell him what's happening and then he can deal with it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. Well, I have really enjoyed my Max-led day. It has been absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Can I just say one last thing, and it's about Children's Heartbeat in itself. the support we got from you guys, see those phone calls on a weekly basis, or not every, it wasn't set in stone a weekly basis, those were unbelievable. Just from somebody touching in from home and just willing to listen and take time. Oh, I thought it was so important for us.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Right, Max, are you going to sign off the camera? I'm going to squeeze away and you sign off to everyone.
Bye.